Hello folks, Anahita Rao here to speak about an important transit that is coming up soon. It is Rahu moving into Kritika on the 5th of October, and it will remain there till June 14th, 2022. And of course that date may vary a bit depending on where you are in the world. And please note, this is the mean node calculation and not the true node calculation. If you're seeing it from the true node perspective, then the entry of Rahu into Kritika would be September 20th. So it will be coming up sooner and it will stay longer till July 12th of next year. And thank you to those who have subscribed and those who comment. And for the rest, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the right hand side. Before I get started, if you need to contact me or want to find me on social media, I don't really use Facebook, but do feel free to connect on Instagram. I do tend to post upcoming transits there. And I put the links in the description box below. Yeah, so let's get started. First, I'm going to speak a bit about Kritika, and then we're going to get into Rahu's transit. I've already actually spoken about the impact on all signs for the Rahu going through Taurus video, so I'll link that below. Now, Rahu moving through Rohini the last several months could have brought many ups and downs. The controlling planet for Rohini is the moon, so this could have brought restlessness in the mind, and this, of course, is further compounded by the fact that Saturn has been transiting through Shravan all year, and Shravan is also connected to the moon. So because we're talking about the changeable moon, a lot of shifts could have happened at this time for you. But a lot of times it's just in the mind itself. Like, you might be going back and forth with the same issues. Yes, no, maybe, yes, no, maybe, that kind of thing. Nonetheless, Rahu has been transiting through Taurus, and it will be doing so till April, so we can enjoy this transit, because it's Rahu tends to operates quite creatively in Taurus, and it's immensely strong and dignified there, so it's a good transit overall. Now, what is Kritika? The word Kritika comes from Krit, which is to cut, also suggesting critic or criticism, and the Shakti of Kritika is the power to burn, or the power to purify, or sever ties also. Kritika's ruling deity is Agni, which is the god of fire, further enhancing this power. Agni represents sacred fire, so purification is basically the dominant action here. And by purification, I like not destruction. Though sometimes destruction, of course, needs to take place in order for the purification stage to emerge, right? That's quite natural. It's that death, rebirth phenomena again. Agni is also the fire that cooks our food, so there's a nourishing side to this energy in Kritika. The transformative power of Kritika is evident in that it burns up negativity and it purifies what is mixed or what is contaminated. The ability to see through a situation, anything, and peel away all of its layers and cut through to the heart of the matter in front of you is very strong in Kritika. The penetrating ability to discern and to detect is also strong in Kritika. It means that you can basically remove anything that's holding you back in your path to success, to reach your goals, whatever that goal may be. Yeah, making this a great time to reinvent yourself, nourish yourself or re-nourish yourself, take a sunny holiday somewhere, and perform any sort of fire ritual it could be in an official way, in a celebratory way also. and thus it's also good for making an official commitment to someone special. On the other hand, it's also a good time to sever ties with someone if that allows you to move forward with your life. And sometimes this happens without you taking the steps to do anything, right? Because it's very strong. It's very strong energy, and we're talking about Rahu moving through it. It's a great time to take up any physical activity. If you've been thinking about, getting back to the gym or some kind of an exercise regimen or start a new physical hobby, then it's a good time for that also. As I said, Kritika comes from the Sanskrit word meaning to cut. So this transit will give you the ability to be discerning and perceptive. And this is the case especially if your sun, moon, or rising sign are sitting in this constellation. Rahu is going to energize this place, this constellation. Yeah. And just simply by transiting there, Rahu will energize that place. So if you have a planet sitting in Kritika in your natal chart that it's connecting to, look at that planet's significations to see what is going to transpire, what's going to come to the surface. Rahu, remember, provides the thirst for experience, the desire to connect. So if it's connecting with Venus, if it's connecting with the moon, if it's connecting with the 7th lord, the 11th lord, or the 2nd lord, then this signifies a relationship coming along. Now, the controlling planet for Kritika is the sun. The sun is associated with what? It's basically the soul or the self. It's associated with leadership qualities, happiness, success, self-realization, spiritual enlightenment. Now, with Rahu moving through here, you may experience some frustration and agitation in these areas, especially if you're going through a Sandasha or Antardasha at this time. In this case, you might be questioning your life path, and it would be a good time to make changes in your life path. The combination of the Sun and Venus energy in Kritika can call into question that balance between me and us, right? Because Venus is what? Us, and Sun is me. It's the individual principle. So relationships that have been holding you back could be severed at this time. Or you may decide to give more priority to relationships that you have neglected or taken for granted. The Taurus portion of Kritika, which is most of the transit, 3 out of 4 padas come under Taurus, is usually about harmonizing that me and us dilemma. Yeah. So your individual needs with your relationship needs are the focus, and they might need rebalancing at this time. You can burn negativity in your life in any form, depending on where Rahu is placed for you at this time and what lordship the sun represents. Yeah. Ultimately, the point, of course, is to get to a deeper truth by eliminating the outdated elements in your life. Now, through this purification, it can also be a good time for any activities that bring you feelings of warmth and nourishment. Kritika is good for starting new projects, for activities requiring courage, initiative, or honesty, sudden change, breaking old habits, beginning education, debating, cooking. And with Rahu transiting here, we're going to be drawn to the activities that are personified by Kritika. One of the most common significations of Kritika is actually foster parenting or adoption, whereas Rohini had a connection to surrogacy. So if you have been considering adoption or foster parenting, you may see unexpected opportunities and breakthroughs in this area. This connection is actually due to the story of the 7 Kritikas, or the 7 sisters, the wives of the 7 sages, who took care of and protected Krittika from danger, Shiva's son, from danger when he was young and not yet ready to battle the demons. We will also be looking at the relationship we have with food, as we're talking about Taurus here. So in fact, it's an excellent time to transform your food habits. when you eat, how much you eat, what you eat. You can review all of this and change some of that at this time. Yeah. Kritika spans 26 degrees 40 minutes of Aries till 10 degrees of Taurus. So Rahu will start its transit in Pada 4 of Kritika in the Navamsha of Pisces on October the 5th. At the beginning of the transit, Rahu is getting an aspect of Venus from Scorpio at this time, who is with Ketu. It will also aspect a tight Sun-Mars conjunction in Virgo. So some relationship matter could culminate here with Venus's position as well as the Sun's position. And this could be severing ties with some people, especially if you have planets in the Scorpio-Taurus axis or the Virgo-Pisces axis. And this is compounded by the fact that we have Saturn in stationary mode at this time, about to shift direct motion the following week. Rahu moves through this Pisces Navamsha from October 5th through till December the 6th. Now, Pisces Navamsha is of course ruled by Jupiter, right? So it promotes group work in a positive way. So any community or group activities can get a boost during this 2-month period. It's a good time to create and build if you're doing something with others, especially. This is also Pushkara Navamsha Pada. So all planets are capable of giving good results here. On December the 7th, Rahu enters Pada 3 of Kritika in the Navamsha of Aquarius, and it remains there till February 7th, 2022. In the Navamsha of Aquarius, Rahu is at home and therefore performs very well. It is also 10th from its place in that D1 Taurus, so again, an excellent position and transit. In this Navamsha, it spends time with Mercury on and off, but it doesn't get afflicted with either Mars or Saturn during this 2-month period. So it's a powerful time, actually, to accomplish that which is connecting with your chart with the sign Taurus or Aquarius. Yeah, you can see some positive growth there. It's also humanitarian and altruistic Pada. So it's a great time for any sort of community work, selfless service, that kind of thing. The emphasis here is on collective duty. The ability to see your future based on events that transpire now is also strong. This Pada promotes all types of learning, so great time to go back to school or learn a new skill. Rahu is involved in 2 eclipses actually in this 2-month period also. So those that have planets in the Taurus-Scorpio axis will definitely be directly impacted at this time. From February 8th, 2022, Rahu transits the 2nd Pada in the Navamsha of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn. And it will be here till April the 11th. For the first 10 days during this transit, Rahu gets aspected by Saturn in Cancer, in the D9. Capricorn Navamsha is actually not the best place for Rahu, as its results become repressed and delayed due to that Saturn effect. Then from February 25th till March 11th, we have a Mars-Venus conjunction in that Sagittarius Capricorn. And in the D9, they go into the nodal axis for the first few days, spelling problems in relationships at this time. It could bring dissolution of important relationships, and it could bring culmination of sorts. This could also be connected to business relationships, as we're talking about Capricorn here. Yeah. This Pada has a strong sense of ethics, but its vision is more material than spiritual. So we could be seeing some corruption or dishonesty coming to the surface with Rahu moving here. And in these 2 months, we also see a shift with Saturn's movement to Dhanishta. So then Mars's position becomes important as well. And in this transit, it will be strongly impacting Rahu. Mars will strongly impact Rahu because it will also be transiting through that Capricorn Navamsha, in fact, in Virgottama. Yeah. On April the 12th, we see Rahu switching signs from Taurus to Aries. And Jupiter just about to move into Pisces 1 day later on April the 13th. Now the first pada falls in Sagittarius Navamsha, which is of course ruled by Jupiter. And Rahu transits here from April 11th till it finishes its Kritika transit on June the 14th. This can be a highly moralistic, generous pada. It can awaken your risk-taking, adventurous side. And you can feel boosted with lots of willpower, strength, and stamina. So it's a good transit for any sort of dynamic activity, any kind of risk-taking activity. This is especially true because of Jupiter's auspicious transit here through Pisces. And the transit through this pada will be action-packed. Changes will happen very quickly now. Again, during this time, we're going to see 2 eclipses taking place at the end of April and the middle of May. We'll also see a Sun-Rahu conjunction from May 10th till May 14th. And then on the 16th, we have a lunar eclipse in Vishaka, which is caused by Ketu. At this time, you may consider it important to incorporate remedies for the sun in your daily life. For example, Surya Namaskar, that's a good one. It's basically a yoga asana consisting of 12 poses. Any kind of sun remedy will increase your confidence and faith at this time. Yoga is good. It tends to do that easily because it unites the male and female parts of us, the sun and the moon. Gayatri Mantra is also good on Sundays if you want to do that. If you do any kind of mantra japa or deity worship, then of course Krittika gets associated with this nakshatra, which is basically Mars. So the Mars Gayatri Mantra is good. And I think worth doing if depending on what's happening in your chart. Are you getting directly impacted? Are you going through the Sun or Mars dasha? Now let's talk about Rahu. Rahu represents pending karma, so wherever Rahu is transiting, past life themes can of course come up. It is of course pending desire, and it's the reason for rebirth. It is unfulfilled desire that the soul has a very etched memory of. And these desires can manifest as an obsession sometimes, and they can manifest as a fear at other times also. Wherever Taurus or Aries falls in your chart, you may experience some big shifts. There will be unexpected changes. In order to really understand how it's going to impact you, you need to look at the following. So first, see the lordship of Rahu for your lagna. For instance, you're a Capricorn lagna, then Rahu is your second lord, transiting the 5th house. So watch for getting fights with family and even with your children. It may be a time when you decide to take some risks with money, perhaps investing in stocks. It's a good time to help others if you can. It's also a good time to engage in any kind of, if you're into religion, any kind of religious activities. And your mind will actually be on family matters, which could see some ups and downs. Your children may be acting out of character as well here. This is again for Capricorn. And the second thing to look for, to see how it's going to affect you, the Rahu transit, is see whether you have any planets situated in Kritika in your chart and what they represent. If you have personal planets here, you will be impacted directly. So let's take an example again. Let's suppose you are Aries lagna and you have Venus sitting in Kritika. Then this would of course trigger your 2nd and 7th house matters, as Venus rules both of these houses. With your 11th lord Rahu transiting over Venus in the 2nd house, where Venus signifies partnerships and it signifies wealth, well, you can see a boost in these areas. This is also called a Dhan Yoga. You may also meet someone who you can connect with on a very intimate level, but never imagine that you would get so close to them so quickly. They could be from a completely different background to you, but you will take the chance and you will get into a relationship with them. It can happen quickly, suddenly, and the person will be different from what you had in mind. Many of us will be making changes in our lives that may involve taking some risks and going down unconventional and unorthodox paths right now. Because it's Rahu transiting here, you will get the opportunities to create, you will get opportunities to grow by taking risks and pursuing ideas that you never dared to try in the past. With Rahu, what I've noticed is that you have to act fast if you want to see results. The opportunity can come very quickly, but too much planning and too much caution doesn't bring any results. The opportunities could also disappear very quickly if you hesitate. So this is the time to take leaps of faith in the areas that are impacted by Taurus and Aries in your chart, and of course those areas that are represented by Rahu in your personal chart. During this transit, with the exception of early February till early March, I would say take risks, be unorthodox in your thinking if you want to see good results. The last time we experienced Rahu transit in Kritika was from March the 1st, 2003 till November the 7th, 2003. So if you're old enough to remember that time frame, you may experience some similar things come up in your life, especially if you have planets in Kritika, and especially if you're going through the moon or Ketu or Rahu dashas. Yeah. Remember, as always, dasha serves as the background and takes importance. So if you're in a Rahu, moon, or Venus dasha or antardasha, then this Rahu transit is very relevant. Why Venus? Well, simply because Rahu is transiting through Taurus. As usual, please feel free to leave your comments, and of course do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you folks, all the best.